Yeah, and staying in Scotland for a moment, as we saw there could be a Brexit boost support for independence. And while we were there recently at the Edinburgh International Book Festival, we found a way to ask the Scottish people what they think on Brexit negotiations. Let's take a look.
A modern tragedy.
I think maybe some very long fantasy horror story.
I think it would be a comedy.
It would be a disaster story.
I think I would put it in the horror section.
I think it would be a thriller.
The most appalling kind of Greek tragedy you could ever imagine.
I think the opening line would be looking for Nirvana.
In the beginning, there was a very fine and fantastic Europe.
The Boris bus pulled into town, promising the world.
It all seemed like a good idea.
My God, this is the worst of times. There is no best of times.
The hero would be, I think, Michel Barnier.
The hero of the book would be our First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon.
I think the hero of this book would be the British people, collectively, as a nation.
There are very few heroes, there are many villains.
Well, it has to be David Davies, Boris Johnson, Liam Fox.
The villain of all those who were peddling falsehood. Mr. Farage, Mr. Johnson.
There's only one villain really, and that is the Tory Prime Minister, David Cameron.
The people like Barnier and Junckers, I think, who run it on a political ideology as opposed to what I think should be the best interests of all 27 nations.
Two villains, maybe, Boris Johnson and Michael Gove.
Europe carries on happily and the UK sinks into more and more chaos. And that is how Brexit ends.
With a free Scotland, free and independent Scotland. That's how it ends.
It ends with rejoicing in the streets, the villages, the pubs throughout Europe as we all come together again, as Robert Burns so eloquently said, as one family of man, for we are brothers for all that.